All right, American Hammers TV. We're live at the moment, and we have a special guest tonight out of Texas, Clint. What's going on, Clint?
What's up, guys? How are we doing? Dallas Hammer. What's up?
Doing good, doing good. Lee's my original co-host, my OG co-host, and I'm so happy to have him back here. It feels like we haven't really been together in ages, man.
I know, this is one of the times. It's been a long time since we've done this. Just somebody else. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so before we get started, I got a couple things I have to mention.
I'm glad I could bring you two together.
Oh, thanks, Clint. I appreciate that. Quickly, I got to mention, well, obviously the elephant in the room, Strava Craft Coffee. I got to say that. Thank you so much for all the coffee you've sent us and the discount code you've offered our viewers, which is Hammers15. It's valid until June 30th. You can save 15% if you add that to checkout. Really good stuff. They don't just make the coffee with the CBD. So I keep getting questions about that. So it's not all CBD coffee, but they do have CBD coffee. And it's premium craft coffee no matter what they do. They also have decaf and all that other good stuff. So they're out of Denver, Colorado. They're awesome. We love them to death. And I'm going to talk to Lee about getting a page on our website dedicated to them, and also the testimonials of the viewers who have actually bought the coffee. Like, hear what they have to say about it, because we've actually had quite a few of you tell us you purchased the coffee. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, they're up there. They're up there. If you look at our website, if you go to AmericanHammersTV.us and you scroll down a little bit on the first page, there's a link to Strava Craft Coffee where you can go buy the coffee. But I don't think I have the code out there because I couldn't remember it.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, well, the website's a work in progress. We just got that going finally.
Yeah, yeah.
So
we're gonna start getting some content on there. Yeah.
The other thing I have to mention is that, well, my father decided to buy a T-shirt off of bonfire.com/American Hammers TV the day after the campaign ended, which I thought was impossible, but apparently I had a automatic restart. If someone were to buy a new shirt, you know, it would go automatically another 14 days. So thanks to him, it's up for another 14 days. So go to bonfire.com/American Hammers TV, and there's hoodies, there's crew neck, sweatshirts, crew neck, long sleeves, all that other good stuff. And then once that campaign ends, we're going to add a new design, and with V-necks and children's shirts and stuff like that too. So I would rather have you guys keep buying stuff so that, you know, I don't have to be so embarrassed to give, you know, Eyeless Fight and DT38 like $2. So yeah, we've sold 21 shirts so far. I really appreciate it, everyone who purchased something already. And just so you know, 20% gets split up between the two charities. We're definitely going to be, you know, sending them. I think like they get like $20 each right now, but I prefer, you know, you guys keep helping us out, help them out. So I just had to say that. And what else? There was one more thing. Yeah, before, I'm not going to say at the end of the show. I'm going to say it now because it seems like a lot of you just, you know, want to hear things in the beginning here. We have a massive couple shows tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Dan Lawless from West Ham Fan TV at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And then tomorrow night, if they hit record, we will have a transfer roundup, a weekly transfer roundup from Scott Davis, James Hayes from Texas, and Keith from American Ironworks / he's in Albuquerque now, and Justin, you'll recognize him from, well, Chicago Hammers, but also American Hammers TV. All right. That said, let's get into this. Lee, take it away.
Clint,
I'm out of breath. Sorry.
I was going to say, Clint, I think you are the first Dallas Hammer we've talked to who might actually be from Dallas, or more or less from Dallas.
I am born and bred from Dallas, Texas. Well, north of Dallas, but I mean, close enough. Closer than Wayne, that's for sure.
Closer than where are you from?
I'm from the Colony originally, so about 20 miles north of Dallas proper. So yeah, born and bred here. I've been a soccer fan football fan since we're talking about English football. I've been football fan for about 6 years now, and got hooked up with Wayne and them last winter. Excuse me. We're in the summer now. Last winter, and you know, now I'm here. It's great. It's been a great ride so far.
Do you know where Midlothian? You know where Midlothian, Texas is? South of Dallas, down near Waxahachie. You ever heard of it?
Yeah, right there off 287. I know exactly where Midlothian is, man. I went to school in Arlington, so we hung out in Midlothian a lot. Had some friends that lived down there.
I don't know why you would do that, but I hope you. Midlothian is my
They were
hometown.
rich. They
Oh,
were
God.
rich, had a big house. They had a big house, some land, and their dad always grilled. So where were we? Where the free food was in college. So,
I might know these people. I don't know, but yeah, Midlothian is where I grew up, so it's my hometown. You went to UT Arlington, is that right?
no, I went to Arlington Baptist College, small
Oh,
school, right off division. Played baseball, played college baseball there, and
nice.
graduated. Went to Florida for a couple years, and now I'm back here in DFW and hanging out, man, sweating my face off. Trying not to drown these last couple of days. We've had about 8 inches of rain in about 48 hours, so it's been unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal the amount
We're
of rain
catching
we're
up
getting.
to you. Yep, we're catching up to you.
Texas
It's been raining
weather.
all day.
Texas weather, except for the cold, Texas weather is always extreme. It's always extremely hot, extremely rainy, extremely tornado-y. Whatever it's going to do, it does it hard.
Oh yeah,
It goes hard.
yeah. We can go down to the pool at noon, have to come up at 3 because it's raining so bad. Then we're back down there at 3:45, hanging out again like nothing happened. So it's just,
Exactly.
and the pool's about 12 degrees colder because of all the rain. So
Yeah.
just is what it is, man.
So how did you get into West Ham?
So I had a roommate in college, and he's actually a Manchester United fan. He's from Africa. Crazy that we ended up this little school together. And every Saturday morning, he's getting up at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. to watch this stupid game called soccer. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? And then I got up, and literally the first game me and him watched, or the first match, was Man U versus West Ham. And I think it was 2011. And like from then on, I fell in love with the game. And didn't really have a team in the Premier League and stuff, but kept up with it, kept up with like every team, didn't really pick a team. And then we watched Green Street Hooligans, and then like from then on, man, I was set. Like that was it. Like
Yep.
I never followed them when I lived in Florida, and then I came back here, and I was like, I need to do something because you see all these Man U and Tottenham fans and everything, and I was like, I don't want to be like everybody else. And then West Ham just kept coming back, and then I was like, all right, here we go, and looked up the supporter group here in Dallas and found Wayne and them at McSwiggins, and the rest is history. So it was weird, though. I mean, Green Street Hooligans really like tied it all in together. As weird as that sounds,
It's not,
but,
the more we do this show, it's not weird at all. We've heard that a lot from all over the country. We've heard that story a lot. We heard it most recently with the guy from up in Maine. I remember, I think it was, Jared from Oklahoma said the same thing, and I think Justin, right? Justin from Chicago?
Same thing, yep.
Yeah. It's a common thing. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds so weird, but I mean,
no, it's not weird.
Just when people ask, how'd you become a West Ham fan? I'm like, I watched a movie one time in college, and like, hey, here it is. Like, that's how it happened.
It's the magic of West Ham, man. It's the club. It finds you. Somehow, some way or another. It doesn't matter how. It's just it's always different.
If you have
for sure.
If you have the character to be a West Ham fan, if you have the balls to be a West Ham fan, the club will find you. If you don't, you can go off and support a top 6 club, right? But if you feel like some substance to you, the club will find you. Listen, Green Street is the best piece of marketing ever done for West Ham in this country, and I'm sure the club had nothing.
100% agree.
But it's the best piece of marketing ever done for West Ham. It's like a Bible, it like brings people in a lot.
It is.
Yeah. And not just.
And I asked some people that lived in London. I asked them, I was like, is this like really how it is? And they're like, not so much anymore. But back in the 80s and the 90s, like it was rough. And I was like, man, that's like what I'm talking about. Because I mean, I'm an FC Dallas fan. So, I'm used to a lot of disappointment when we get close to the end. You know what I'm saying? With the hunts and everything. Just don't pay for anybody. Don't pay for anything. We get to the playoffs, and then, hey, we're done. Like, it's great. So I'm like, hey, you know what? I can go right here. We'll sit between 7 and 10. I'm going to love it. I'll take a lot of beating for being a West Ham fan. But at the end of the day, I look good in Scarlet and blue, so that's all that matters, right? I mean, that's all that matters to me.
Clint, if you haven't seen it, there's a movie that ran on BBC in the late 80s called The Firm. It was Gary Oldman's first.
Okay.
It's called The Firm, and that is a really good hooligan movie. It's not. It's a little less entertaining than Green Street in a way, because Green Street is a little more.
It's more intense, though. It is more intense.
Right? It's more intense, and most of the people I've talked to, and we've talked to here, over months and years have said that if you want to see a movie that's a pretty good representation of what it was really like, watch The Firm, because it was made during the era, right? It was made in like 1988 or 89, maybe 1990. I don't know. It's Gary Oldman's first role, and it's a pretty good representation, from what I understand, of what hooligan life at the time was really like. So anyway, that's worth watching if you can find it, which it's got to be out there somewhere.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
I just rewatched that. I just rewatched Green Street too, because I haven't seen that since 2006 or something like that. I haven't seen it since.
Great, man. Green Street,
so,
entertaining.
That. You know what else, Lee?
It's very Hollywood, but it's like
it's still cool,
very Hollywood, but it's also like very Sundance at the same time. Like you could tell it's not like a multi-bazillion-dollar movie, but there was a lot of time and effort that went into it. So it was just like because when I don't know how it is up there in New England where you guys are, but I know here, like when we go into the stadium and stuff, it's kind of just like a free for all. We don't all go in together. We have our supporter groups and stuff like there, and you see like 4,000 people just walking to the grounds at the same time. You're just like, oh my gosh, like this is what I want to be a part of. Like I like walking in by myself and being the center of attention, but like with everybody else, like it was just very eye-opening. And then like from then on, man, it just, like you said, the team found me, and now I'm here, I'm stuck. So hopefully they don't want to get rid of me anytime soon.
We don't know what it's like in New England either, because we never go to Revs games. Nobody goes to Revs games, so there's not much atmosphere. They play in Gillette.
Hey, I don't blame you.
Yeah, it's a 65,000 seat stadium with like 10,000 people rolling around in it. The Crafts don't invest in the franchise at all. Everything they've done with the Patriots, it's like they've done the opposite with the Revs. All the success they've had.
That's the same with the Hunts and the Chiefs. I mean, the Hunts, that's all they care about is the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And Dallas, we can't get anybody, except from what I hear now that Javier Hernandez, he's on FC Dallas's radar, is what I heard a couple days ago through a couple sources here in Dallas, that he's on a transfer window, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is to be, because he's worth more than like $7. So I don't think the Hunts will go for it, but it'll be fine. We'll figure it out.
You truly have already had the West Ham fan experience being an FC Dallas fan.
Man, it sucks. Like, because we go out and we're out there just busting our balls every week, man, for that team, and we don't get any kickback. But hey, at least we got the Hall of Fame, though. We got the Hall of Fame. That's all that matters at our stadium. So,
and that's up in Frisco by the stadium, right?
It's beautiful, man.
That's connected.
Really
actually in the south end of the stadium. Yeah, it's connected. So it's right there on the concourse, right there.
When I was 6 years old, I went to see the old Dallas Tornado play at Texas Stadium. The old North American Soccer League from the 70s and 80s. About 1980, I saw the Dallas Tornado play the California Surf in Texas Stadium. It was my first ever professional football match. So it's not exactly FC Dallas, but it's the predecessor of FC Dallas.
Right.
Yeah, I was a Tornado fan when I was a kid, and they were pretty terrible too, actually.
Yeah, the Burn. It's just
the Burn was
the Burn. Yeah.
Yeah, the Burn started
the OG Dallas team, 96, man.
The Burn started right after I moved. I graduated from TCU in 96, and I moved to New York. The Burn, I think 96 was the first season of MLS. So I followed the Burn a little bit, but it was pretty bad too. Which is weird because Dallas.
Hey, at least we have something in common.
That's true. Dallas is a big soccer city, though. Dallas has always been a big soccer city. I mean, lots of youth players, great youth program,
I mean, well, our academy's crazy, and it amazes me that we can only draw 10,000, 11,000 a game. Like, I just don't understand. It's crazy just how many people are around us in the Metroplex, and then how many people are in our academy, and we can't sell out a 17,000 seat stadium ever. So
yeah, weird. Do you think it's because it's up in Frisco? I mean, I know the population's kind of headed that way in recent years, but is that where soccer?
Well, it's a beautiful area too. Look, they developed that really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot. I mean, there's apartments around it. There's nice homes around it.
I caught a movie,
when
dude.
It was down at.
I caught a film
like
at
when we were down at
the place right before the match I went to.
Like when we were down at Fair Park, it didn't really draw when the Burn was there because they weren't very good. And now that we're up in Frisco, I mean, we sell out when Rooney comes to town, when Ibra comes to town. I mean, when those big names come to town. But I mean, when you have the youngest roster in the league at 21, nobody knows half the guys on the team, and everybody else is from Ecuador and Venezuela and Brazil. You know, it's hard to. I mean, we don't know half these guys. So I mean, I'm a season ticket holder, but I know them because I'm there every week. But mom and pop down the street don't know anything. So it's hard to say.
They
I
need
think
someone
with the
like
PGA coming to Frisco, though, I think it'll help. Oh yeah, a big name would help us
big
tremendously.
Mexican player would be huge, I would think.
Yes,
Frisco,
exactly.
honestly, it's hard. It's funny to me because when I think of, and I haven't lived in Dallas in a long, long time, but I mean, I have friends there, family there. When I think of people who are going to watch soccer live, they kind of don't live in Frisco. They live in like, South Oak Cliff, So, I mean,
Right, but I mean,
it's just not in the right place.
it is, but it isn't. It's good for the academy because that's where the money is and stuff. But like you said, it might not be the correct demographic. But like Mexico, we went to the Gold Cup game a couple weeks ago. I was telling Tim we went to the Gold Cup game, and it was Mexico Ecuador, and it was at Cowboys Stadium. That's an 80,000 seat stadium, and they sold 70,000 tickets
because
for that game for a Gold Cup game
because it
for a
wasn't
friendly.
it wasn't ML. I mean, it wasn't MLS. MLS just.
I know, but what he's saying, if you get a big name Mexican nationality player or somebody from South America, I mean,
It'll
your
help.
draw is right there.
It'll help.
It would help tremendously.
Yeah, I just I don't think the MLS will ever get to where it needs to be unless they open up the amount of non-American players they can have on the squad.
Yeah.
We've discussed. I can't remember what
the
show or
salary cap,
who we're
too,
talking about this. That too. You're right. I can't remember who the fuck we're talking about this to recently. They were saying that until they change the amount of designated players or eliminate that completely and just say, you know what, as long as you have X amount of Americans on the team, like make it, I don't know, what, 7, 10, I don't know, and the rest be wherever you can afford.
Yep.
That's right. The only, if there's not going to be promotion relegation, then that's what needs to happen. And then people will be interested because the football will be good. The football's never going to be good until they do that.
Right. Well, especially because our three main sports are basketball, football, baseball. There's where your big guys go. So anybody else who plays soccer is so small. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and hockey's arguably the fourth. I mean, yeah.
And hockey for sure. So I mean, to get these big guys who are sized up like me. I mean, I'm 6'3", 230, 240. To get guys like me to play, you've got to be able to pull them from all over the world if you want to make us a powerhouse for soccer. I mean, because right now, England, that is your powerhouse sport. Football is their sport. So, like, to get these big guys, you need to open it up for us to let it
after a greater diversity of kids. You got to go after a greater diversity of kids too, because in the U.S. you have to pay to play in a club, and it's expensive.
Yep.
And in most of the rest of the world, when you get to be 12, 13, 14 years old, if you're good enough, the club comes.
That's what I'm saying. It's a tryout thing. It's not a fucking you pay.
So we have all these like middle class, upper middle class white kids playing, and some of them might be pretty good athletes. But if you want to get our best athletes, you're going to have to go down into, you're going to have to do what Howard Schnellenberger did at Miami years ago with college football. He went into the city, and he said, "You want to come play for the University of Miami?" He went and got big, strong kids from the inner city and built a powerhouse. And we're going to have to do the same thing. We have to go in and say, hey, you can play this sport and you don't have to pay for it. You don't have to be wealthy to play it. You don't have to be a, suburban white kid to play it. Anybody can play it. Then we'll start getting some athletes. I mean, quite frankly, that's how I feel. Look around the world.
And in schools too. I mean, in high schools too. It just needs to be a bigger thing in high school because like our soccer team, you wouldn't know anything about them in my high school. And I mean, I went to a huge school of like almost 3,000 students.
Yeah.
Like soccer, what's that? Like, who's on the soccer team?
Exactly.
So
the track.
I mean, it's just exactly. The kids who can run for a long time. That's who plays soccer. I mean, they don't have to kick it. They just got to run, be able to run back and forth.
That's it. Yeah. You run for 90 minutes, then yeah.
Which high school did you go to? Where'd you go to high school?
I went to the Colony.
Oh, there.
So, that's right.
When you get north of Dallas, I start to lose because I'm from the south of Dallas.
Touched everything. Yeah, you're right there. Once you're below 30, I-30, that's where you stop. Like I-30 is that's your line. That's your equator.
Totally.
I understand. Okay.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. I've been to McKinney like once. So
I got to ask you, man. You mentioned this was the first year you actually hooked up with Dallas Hammers. Now, why did you decide to start looking for a supporters group? And then why, or not why, but what was your initial experience?
Man, so the supporter group. So here I sit in our supporter section for FC Dallas. Every week I'm down in the first row. If you ever watch an FC Dallas game, you'll see me. I wear a white jersey. I wear a red suit with short sleeves. I look like an idiot, but I want to be right there behind the goal. The team, I just want the team to see me. So, and I'm all about it. And then when we started looking at the West Ham stuff and started following it in November and December, like really hard, I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, the American Outlaws, how they have supporter bars literally everywhere in
They do.
America, everywhere. It made me think of that, and I was like, well, you know what? Like, I'm going to just look up West Ham, and in my head, I didn't actually know how big West Ham was because it's not one of your power fours. It's not the Chelsea, the Arsenal, the Man U. So I was like, okay, well, let's just look up West Ham and Dallas, and then the Dallas supporter group popped up. Looked, and I saw Wayne. And from when I was in college going to FC Dallas games, I had seen Wayne before at the games when he was doing their supporter group.
Mm-hmm.
So I had seen Wayne before, and I had tied that together, and I shot him a message. I was like, hey, man, like, what's this all about? Blah, blah, blah. And me and him, we were literally chit-chatting for like 2 weeks. That's when the next match was. And me and my girlfriend, we got in the car and drove down the street. It was like 15 minutes from my house and got there. And it was just like, man, we walked in the door, and Wayne just, made us feel like we had been there forever. I mean, just like we had been there forever. I mean, we walked in the door, and he's like, hey, this is everybody. And everybody came up, shook our hands, said hello, blah, 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 like made us feel like we were just a big time stuff. And like, we're not. I'm like, okay, well, hey, everybody loves us. Like, now they get to meet me, and then they're gonna be like, oh crap, never mind.
West Ham fan you are, though. You know what I mean? That's the thing. I think you are.
Yeah. No, it was great. And it was just like this whole weird dynamic of people who are in there. Like, it was just like the lost toys were in their toy box together at this pub. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I got Grandpa Joe sitting over here drinking wine. And then I got Phil, looks like he's about to take somebody out back and beat the crap out of him. I just didn't know what to even think. I didn't know what to think, man. So, but it was great. I mean, it was really good. Like every match this year, we just kept the numbers. It just seemed like more people were showing up, and like our last game, the last match of the year, I think we had like 55 people there, something crazy.
Yeah.
And it was great, and just everybody is just so welcoming. It's just becoming like a tight knit group, and the Plano Fire Department has their Fireman Olympics every year, their soccer team, and the West Ham supporter group put together a team and played them again this year. So, and like that team's growing, and just, I don't know, we're just a tight bond, man. Gonna hang out at somebody's house here in a couple weeks. It's just been great. Just, I don't know, everybody just flows really well together. So many different personalities, but it's great.
That's the same experience I had when I went and visited. Very welcoming. Everybody acted like they knew me, and it was very, very, very nice to just have these conversations with someone like, we're best friends, everybody. It was really cool. But what was I going to say? The reason why this show started to begin with was to try to showcase the supporters. I know this show has evolved into something more than that now. We don't just do supporters groups anymore, but the initial thought was, hey, let's showcase the supporters groups, try to, show what it's like, and tell stories of what it's like to be a part of a supporters group, and try to grow your own if you're not if you're not close to a supporters group, or there isn't one nearby. You can either start your own, or look up your nearest supporters group, etc., etc., etc. So I love hearing stories like that, like what you just said, so that other people can hear that and say, you know what, I live in Fort Worth, or I live in Arlington or whatever, or I live in Midlothian, hey, I'm going to shoot on up. I know it's a little bit of a hike, but you know what? These guys seem like a good time, and they get good numbers. Let's head down there. Totally. Like, we're going to have someone on from Bakersfield on Wednesday, and he hangs out with the Fresno Irons. And, that Bakersfield to Fresno is not necessarily like a 10-minute drive. You know what I mean? It's not a long drive either.
Yeah, it's not right around the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's in California, so, it could be 3 miles away and still take 2 hours. But,
so it'll be nice. It'll be nice to get his perspective, too, on how, why he goes to Frisco. For Fresno all the time, and hear someone else's perspective besides hearing Kyle from Fresno. Or like the reason why we have you on is because we wanted to have a different experience from the Dallas Hammers, not just hearing from Wayne all the time, like someone else's perspective, because Wayne is biased because it's the group, you know?
Yeah, it's him. He is the reason it all is going the way it does. I mean, Wayne's great. He is a great guy. He just stays in contact with everybody so well and always is checking in on people, will message people. And I think that helps a lot too, with especially keeping a supporter group together, is that constant communication and the Facebook group of him always posting stuff and always saying stuff and whatnot. And that's what's helped us. I really believe that. And I mean, anybody is welcome. I mean, you can come in and hang out, whatever. I mean, I'll probably make fun of you a little bit, but I still love you and everything. I mean, you can come in.
That's part of the fun. I mean, because it's like
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like being in a family, and I know I've said this on this show before, but it's not like that with other clubs. I mean, I've talked about my friend who is a Liverpool supporter, and he moved here from Minnesota about a year ago. He can't get into the Boston Liverpool Supporters Club because it's closed. It's like paid membership, and it's closed. So when he goes to the pub, when he went to the pub to watch Champions League final, he didn't know if he'd get in or not because the supporters group gets in first, right? No matter when they show up, they get to walk in ahead of everybody else, And he can't join because they're saying, "Oh no, we're full for now. You can't join." This guy's like a Liverpool fan for many years. He just didn't have to live in Boston until last year. They don't let him in. It's not like a family with them, There's
no, for sure.
And there's elitism, and I think you would never get this with West Ham. I think you would never get this. We're just happy that anybody wants to come watch with us, be a part of us.
Oh yeah, it's the same over there though.
Like, let's have a good time. I mean, like I went to brunch this morning. We went and watched the women's game today. Shout out, Carrie Lloyd, 2 goals. That's my girl. But we went to the Londoner, this place in Addison. It's called the Londoner. And it was very ironic when I was there because that is a supporter bar for multiple clubs, especially the American Outlaws. That's why we were there. But on the wall, it says you can buy Chelsea home kits, Man U home kits, Arsenal kits, and Liverpool kits all there. And I'm like, how many of those teams are actually in London? Like, if we're at the Londoner, how many of those teams are in London?
Just Chelsea, right?
Right.
Chelsea,
exactly.
Well, Arsenal. Okay, Chelsea and Arsenal, but only 2 of the 4. So yeah.
I mean, and I'm like, that's really weird. And then there's one room that's all Chelsea stuff, the other one that's Man U stuff. Then you have the main bar that's your Arsenal stuff. I'm like, how do you watch a game here on a Saturday with all these other supporter groups here? I'm like, what? Like, that's just hooliganism at its finest right there in the parking lot. Like, I don't know, man.
Well, you guys are lucky because you all have your own place. And a lot of people we talk to are in situations like that where they have to go and they have to watch with supporters groups from other clubs because, not every bar will open up, especially on the West Coast. Not every bar will open up at 7:00 in the morning, let people in. So they're stuck with, they're stuck in like an Arsenal bar, a Manchester United bar. They're stuck in a place where it's like Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City. They're all in the same place. Even here in Boston, the guys who go watch the games down in the city, that's basically like a Man City pub down there. And of course, every pub is full of Liverpool in Boston because they're everywhere. But you're Wiggins, you've got your own place. That's great. That's really nice, actually. I think.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Try to do that. That should be our goal for all of our groups is to have our own places. It's just hard to do.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and it's great too. So, what was it like? Two matches before the end of the year, or I guess the last match was an early match. One of the 6:30 matches, the people who work there, Kat and Lee, who work at the pub, they went and bought us food to come in at 6:30 in the morning because the grill wasn't going to be open. They were like, well, we know you guys are coming and going to have drinks and everything at 6:30. So they bought breakfast burritos and donuts and like all this stuff for us. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
like, that's awesome. That just
made, right? Like, that's when you got it made. Yeah.
You guys must drink a hell of a lot.
They're fantastic.
That's cool. That's
really
cool.
Well, it's like very selfless of them, especially to open up at 6:30 for some of these games. And because here the early game is 6:30 for us, and stay open and whatever else. And as long as we have the numbers, which we always have, that I've been around, it's been really good. And it's just turning into a very tight knit group. And hopefully around the rest of the United States, it starts getting that way too. For everybody else.
Yeah, we're seeing it in other places too. We're seeing it, I think Columbus, I think Fresno come to mind. We're starting to see it in other places. New York has always had a big group.
DC
and Baltimore, which are pretty much right next to each other anyway. It's starting to come together. But I wanted to ask you. So y'all are playing against. Do you have like a supporters club now or team that you play with?
So like us as supporters play together. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. You said you played
Not yet. It's being talked about. So because all of us kind of already have our other teams that we play on. Some people play indoor, some people play outdoor, whatnot. So when all that kind of slows down, we're talking about putting together like a 6v6 team because some of us are fat and out of shape. So running a full 11 and a full field is kind of rough. So
I'm with you on that.
It's being talked about. Hasn't really come to pass yet, especially now with summer. People are gone on vacation and whatnot. So I imagine when the school year starts and when the season starts, that's when that all kind of come together. But it has been talked about, yes, because right now I think our Facebook page for the Dallas Hammers has 160 people,
Wow.
right around that, 150, 160 people.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of them are super active too. And like I said, I mean, we're averaging almost 30 to 40 at the pub every match. So give or take some. So it's good, and hopefully a team will generate from that for sure.
But you're playing elsewhere. You have a team play on a regular basis.
Yeah, me and my roommate, he actually, I never played soccer. I was a baseball guy, just because I was never built for soccer. And we worked together in Orlando, and we worked at Disney World together. And he moved here when he got a job with the Cowboys, and was like, "Hey, let's play soccer," because he played in Orlando. And I was like, "Okay, cool. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm coordinated with these, not my feet." You know what I mean? So he was like, "Okay, well, just go stand in the goal." So that's what I do. I mean, because I've got a decent reaction time. Some nights, other nights, I look terrible. I look like a goose in a snowstorm trying to fly north. It's terrible.
But it's
But yeah, no, we play every.
At 6'3",
Yeah, I mean, we play on
you have the advantage of wingspan and height already, right? So
right, and we play on a smaller goal, so at least that helps. It's just the decision making. Sometimes I'm like, do I go out? Do I stay here? Crap, I should have decided quicker because now I'm throwing the ball back to midfield because it's in the back of the net. But no, we play on Tuesday nights. We play a little 6-on-6 league down in Allen, and it's fun. It's cool. It's different, man. It's a whole different sport. Let me tell you, it is a lot different. We're going from baseball and standing there and not doing a whole lot to watching people run back and forth for an hour.
Oh yeah, it's both my boys play soccer. I coach my older son's team. They just finished playing last week. And my little guy, I hope is going to continue playing when he goes into first grade in the fall. He says he wants to, so hopefully. But he's also talked about playing baseball. And while I'm not against him playing baseball, watching kids play baseball is just death because they just kind of stand there.
Yeah, no, it is.
I mean, I'm talking about children. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go to Fenway from time to time, or I'll go to the Spinners down the street here in Lowell, watch minor league games. Those are fun. Kids baseball is just the worst.
Yeah,
walk,
definitely.
Right.
Foul ball. Parent arguing with the umpire.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I told him,
Dad gets thrown out. Go drinks in the parking lot.
I told him if he still wants to play next year, he can play next year. But hopefully he'll, just do something else. We'll see. But is that a Fabian shirt that you're?
I understand, man.
Is that a keeper shirt you got on?
Yeah, man. I am a keeper guy. So I have this keeper shirt. I've got Jesse Gonzalez keeper shirt from FC Dallas. I've got the green one for this year's kit in my cart on the West Ham shop, waiting for payday to get that. Hopefully my girlfriend's not watching right now because she's going to literally comment and say, "Don't buy another shirt." Is literally what she's about to say. If I could find the USA
Tell me about
kit, I would. I'm a keeper guy. Like, I am very just loud and outspoken and stuff. So the keeper kits, I love them. And I love the long sleeves. I don't like short sleeves. So I really prefer the long sleeves and then pull them up like this.
Yep.
Pull them up to the 3/4. It just feels a lot better. I have the home kit from last year that's a long sleeve, but like here, you can't get an FC Dallas jersey that is a long sleeve. Like, they just don't make it. Adidas does not make it.
Huh.
Yeah, the only ones you can is the keeper kits because nobody wears long sleeve when they play, so they don't sell them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm a keeper kit kind of guy. They're normally the most colorful, and they're long sleeves, and that's just, I don't know, that's just me. That's kind of the shirts I like. Not that I like the training kit too, the Vista Blue.
I like that too.
Like that a lot.
Yeah, that was nice. I on payday last week, I bought 2 American Hammers TV T-shirts, so that was why I was putting money on payday. But yeah, I gotta get the away shirt for this season, and maybe the home shirt too. I don't know.
I'm going for the home, man.
You know what?
I do like the home. I really do.
Just because everybody's going for the away.
I know. You're right. The home has really grown on me a lot. It's grown on me a lot, and I have a lot of away shirts like this one. I have a lot of away shirts. So.
It looks cool from the front. Me too. I usually buy the away shirts, but no, the new home shirt looks awesome. And like you turn around and it's clear with the blue sleeves.
Yeah, I know.
It looks fucking old school. I love it so much.
Yeah, it is really.
Yeah, you know what's funny? And I'm also I in my cart, waiting for my wife's approval. I also threw in the third kit from last year, just because it's only 15 pounds right now. So
the dirty
they still have them in stock. So I said, you know what? It's only 15 pounds. Let's throw that in there while I'm at it.
I saw a guy wearing one.
Man, okay, so
it didn't look too bad actually.
Just to interrupt, I literally just got a text message from her and says, "You do not need any more clothes." Literally in all caps. I wish I could show you this. Like I'm just gonna pull my phone up like that. She is literally texting me right now saying I don't need any more. She's like, I couldn't find the comment button, so I'm gonna text you. Is what she said.
Well, my mom.
Hey, the purple one's in the cart for her too. So
do what?
It's okay. The purple training kit for this year's in the cart for her because it's pretty. So that's all that matters.
I love the purple. Cool, I love purple. I did get a purple for myself, but that's cool that she wears West Ham stuff. My wife doesn't really mind if I buy it, but she doesn't want to wear it. My mother bought me a West Ham T-shirt for Father's Day, which is very nice. Nice, we've got. I have a Jack Collison signed shirt because Tim and I. Well, Tim knows Jack Collison, and he had him down here a couple of years ago for a camp for kids. And I actually had a Jack Collison shirt that I owned already that he signed. So my wife went to buy a frame for it for me for Father's Day, but it's the wrong size apparently. The shirts are longer. The football shirts are longer than American football jerseys. So anyway, but she's working on it.
Really?
Huh. Yeah, nice though. That's a nice thought.
It was a very nice thought, and she bought it. And it unfortunately she got to find a different size, but it was a really nice thought. So I really appreciated that. Yeah. And West Ham stuff is like.
Well, happy Father's Day.
Well, thank you. Well, yeah, that's.
Shout out to you. Happy Father's Day to everybody.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
It's been a good day. Yeah. Well, it rained all day, but other than that, it's been a good day. Yeah. So you were talking about playing. My son is 8. My older son is 8. I coach his team, and the last training session of the season, we had parents versus kids, and really totally by accident. I really didn't mean to do this. I scored a really spectacular goal. Just like top corner. It was kind of embarrassing.
I love how you're talking about the spectacular goal against 11.
No.
You're just like, yes, it was great. The upper 90 because he can't even get close to the upper 90. Oh, no. But man, I drilled it though.
8-year-olds, dude.
8-year-olds. They're 7 and 8. 7 and 8. And I did. I was just trying to boot the ball, really, and it just went into the top corner. And I thought, as long as I play against kids who are half my height, that's pretty good.
You're good, man. Please tell me you took your shirt off in celebration.
I was so embarrassed.
Pitch, please,
dude. I was so embarrassed because I didn't want to score against the kids. Right? I just wanted to keep the ball in play.
Crush them.
No, I did.
Crush their little souls. Come on.
No, they're
never gonna learn.
Yeah, he's saying I didn't want to score, but he shot a rocket from 14 yards out. I didn't want to score though.
That's how bad I am. It was totally unintentional. But one of the mothers scored a tremendous free kick. I mean, she just went like top corner. It was, and you could tell she was stoked. She knew what she was doing. But yeah, I was very embarrassed because I just wanted to keep the ball in play. and it took a lot. I was wearing Crocs. I mean, this is very, and it just took a little more of a little more flight than I expected. All of a sudden, it goes to the top corner, and I'm just like hiding my face. Kids were all looking at me, and I'm like, eh.
Well, that's the perk of using the all rubber shoe. You've got traction for all the different angles.
Right.
So, it's not just on the toe or on the inside. I mean, a full rubber shoe, it's great. I mean, I need to try that next week while I'm playing keeper.
I fully expect to see all the Premier League players in Crocs come August, because obviously it's the best shoe to wear, especially the strikers, especially the guys up front.
Well, I mean, won't Jack have some Crocs on while he's riding his wheelchair out there?
I was going to say Jack will be in a protective boot of some sort after the first 15 minutes of the first match. So,
oh, shut up! Leave it alone. We need him.
I know we need him. No, we do. We need him.
Don't jinx him again. Come on.
No, we don't. But no.
So speaking of that, I got to ask. So I read a rumor today about Arnie, about this whole 40 million pounds, him getting transferred somewhere. Is that actually going to be a thing? Is he going to get transferred? And is he even worth 40 million? I mean, at 30, if I can ask that question.
Will give us 40 million for him, I would take it. Let's put it that. I would take it. I mean, 40 million, I would take it.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think he's worth anywhere near that much at this point. But for 40 million, I would take it in a heartbeat. Especially if we can get Maxi Gomez in, which apparently is not a dead thing. Apparently he's choosing between us and Valencia. Which,
I thought I read like less than an hour ago, right before we went on, that it was like a done deal. It was like 28 million pounds.
Well,
to us.
Maybe
is that what I read? Or
if you read it an hour ago, then you've been on it more recently than I have, because the last thing I read was from about noon today, and Celta Vigo, his club in Spain, accepted a bid from us and a bid from Valencia, both for the same amount of money. I guess you can do that. And so
Valencia's going
to be in
Champions League.
Yeah, but they'll be in Champions League for like 20 minutes. I mean, they don't have any chance in Champions League. I'm sorry, they don't. They just don't. They'll be out at the group stage, So they're in Champions League, which we don't have, obviously. But my understanding is our wages are quite a bit higher than what they're.
Yeah, we'll pay them more. Yeah.
And it's, the Premier League is a higher profile league overall than La Liga. I mean, I know Real and Barca are huge clubs, but after that, it drops off pretty considerably. The Premier League, in terms of viewership, in terms of marketing opportunities, in terms of all that stuff, is the biggest league in the world.
Well,
so there is that as a selling point.
Well, and I think with the system and the formations that are looking like at the end of the year too, that West Ham is starting to run. I mean, it looks like it would benefit him to play with us too, as a run and gun type offense, to utilize his legs and his speed. In my opinion, I mean, I don't know, because I don't run for 90 minutes or 90 seconds, so I don't really know for sure about his fitness and whatnot, but it seems like it could definitely benefit him and be beneficial to him to put him on because the Premier League is obviously the biggest league in the world. I mean, it's hard to argue that. Put him on that stage.
Our official transfer correspondent, Scott Davis, says that Arnie is looking to go. He would drive him to the airport. We'll probably get about 30 million for him. Maxi Gomez is deciding we want to sweeten it a little for him, and then he says, exactly, Lee, they will be out of Champions League immediately. He'll make about 100,000 a week at West Ham.
Holy mackerel!
I'm in.
I'm in. Oh, no, listen.
Yes, please. No. Where's the dotted line? Where is the dotted line?
We need a striker. I soured on Maxi Gomez a little bit at the end of last season, because in the last half of the season, he didn't really score that many goals, and he got sent off a couple of times. And, we talked about this, Tim.
Yes.
I don't think he's necessarily the Messiah. However, we do need a striker.
I'd rather have him than Mitrovic, first and foremost. Secondly, when they did mention the Lobotkov / Gomez package deal, that made me think, okay, I really like Gomez now. Yeah. If he's coming with somebody who actually has talent, But other than that, him by himself doesn't really excite me. I mean, the amount of money that we'd be spending for him. But yes, we do. He is better than what we have, I would say. Yeah. Natural striker versus a winger converted to striker, as in Arnie.
Well, we're about to have nobody potentially, so he's better than nobody. I mean, he's
correct.
Other than youth players like Xander Silva,
I don't.
Proven.
Yeah, I know. And Silva does not excite me whatsoever.
No, it doesn't excite me either. So if we lose Arnie, then I mean, we're about to have no strikers at all, so it's somebody coming in to be better than.
No, we'll do what we did against Tottenham back in I think the 13-14 season with
Val Morrison.
Sam Allardyce. We played a 4-6-0.
We did,
which
we
we had hell of a lot of midfielders and no strikers, and we still beat them.
Away to White Hart Lane, 3-0.
That's right.
A
Never forget that.
4-6-0. Goodness gracious.
That was a Sam Allardyce.
That sounds like a traffic jam at midfield. Man.
We beat Tottenham away.
Hey, that's fine.
Sorry.
That's
fine. Sorry,
That's
Wayne.
what Sam Allardyce did. Everything with him was a traffic jam, and every now and then it worked. And then sometimes it didn't work. It worked on that day.
Yeah, I don't think he did it that often, man. I think that he pulled that out of his ass first and foremost. Nobody saw it coming.
That's true. He never played the 4-6-0 after that I can remember. That's
not that I can remember, no.
But he did like.
I mean, yeah. How do you even plan when you get that formation sheet and you're like, what? Who just wrote this up? Who put the numbers down wrong? Somebody fat fingered these numbers. Like, what happened here?
Yeah.
And then, wow.
It was pretty simple though. I mean, it was pretty much, two wingers with 2 attacking mids and 2 central, midfielders, or maybe one would drop into a holding mid position, and they had the 4 defenders. But
we also had Ravel Morrison that team, who was amazing.
And they just
couldn't
launch him into the box, from the wings. Yeah, Ravel, man, that was his good year, man. He did fairly well when he played that season. Let's see. This is about the time whoa, shit! It's 9:50 already. Wow.
I know. We've been going for a while. I know.
Wow. Anyway, I gotta mention the chat room. I gotta mention everybody in there. I gotta go all the way back to the beginning. Here we got Gabe, Wayne, Scott Davis, obviously, because I mentioned that he was in there already. I see a burp, so that means John Black's in there. Wally World, yeah, good stuff.
Gabe and Wally. Every episode, Gabe and Wally have been on, except maybe the first one when nobody knew about us.
Yeah, I don't remember checking at that point. I don't even think I knew how to check back then.
I don't think you knew how to check. No, it was just the 2 of them talking anyway.
But it seems like them 4. I don't really see or 5. I don't really see anybody else. But lastly, they were saying, or Wayne, don't tell me you want Rondon. Jesus Christ!
No, come on. No, you don't want him. No, we don't. We don't need half of Newcastle.
Wayne's been drinking his Jameson tonight. That's my Jameson plug. Jameson sponsor Wayne while he's on American Hammers TV in his coffee cup. I'll hold up my cup to just reenact his cup.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
We're actually waiting. We're waiting for our mugs from drinkwaredesigns.com. Once they arrive, we're gonna put a link in the description for them. And I guess the guy who does that, or one of the guys who runs that, is out of the Dallas Hammers group. And we're gonna have our logos on a couple cups of coffee here, and Phil, see me drink that for me. Yeah, I think so. And we're gonna. We're gonna. You'll see me with it every night. And what else? I'll put the stuff in the description, and they're a little partner of ours. So Mitrovic is useless. Thanks, Wayne. You got it, buddy. I like that. Scott says mugs rock. And
how's Gabe doing tonight? How you doing, Gabe? You all right, buddy?
Oh yeah, he's.
I like now.
According to him, he's drinking. He's shit faced because of all the Texas references.
That's right. There's Clint. There's a drinking game. Whenever I talk about being from Texas, everybody takes a drink, and whenever I mention a certain club in France,
TCU,
TCU is another one. I mentioned that once tonight. Every time I talk about a certain
Frogs.
Yeah, go Frogs.
And for the first time ever on American Hammers TV history, you said y'all.
I know. I don't say it.
You pulled the y'all out of there.
You know what? If I spend a lot of time with my mom, I end up talking like her. She lives with us. My mom lives with us, but I usually am with the boys and with my wife and so forth. So, but I had a conversation with my mom tonight, so I'm sounding more Texan than usual, I think.
and I was giving Wayne a little bit of shit in the chat room while we were all chatting too, because what he does is say blimey whenever he's talking to somebody from UK. Kind of like you, yeah. His
I haven't mentioned any French clubs. No French clubs tonight, so we're not going to talk about that.
I mentioned Tompkins in the chat room, so that's the one, that gets people drinking.
I mentioned Fabianski because of Clint's shirt, so you haven't complained about him though.
No, I won't. Listen, no,
I know.
Fabianski is a good goalkeeper. He's not a Hammer of the Year. That was my whole gripe last year, was that I don't feel he's a Hammer of the Year.
We move on.
Who was the Hammer of the Year? The non-VAR, was that the Hammer of the Year? the non-existent VAR was the hammer of the
Declan
year.
Rice.
Yeah, the referees were like the anti-hammers of the year, and some of the linesmen too.
Golly.
Fuck
I was
off.
talking to
you
a guy
wanky
today
pussy. Wow.
from one of the Dallas supporters, and we're, as bad as this sounds, so excited for VAR next year because of the Man U game
Yep.
and a couple other games that like the VAR would have been
Liverpool,
huge.
Yep. We
What
probably
do you mean? But the more
Definitely.
we're hearing now about the Women's World Cup and VAR is that it's going to be miserable for everybody.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, we've had it in America. I mean, we have it for the MLS, and it's not a complete mess.
When I visited you down in the boys down in Dallas, I went to the Portland Timbers game.
Oh, and it was balls cold that night.
And
Balls
it was horrible. It was raining. It was pain in the ass, and the fucking Portland Timbers wouldn't shut the fuck up, and their stupid drums pissed me off. And besides that, the what's it called? Just say no to drums. All right. Besides that, the fucking you remember that game at all? You remember the VAR call at the end? It was like in added time, and the referee, if he overturned the call,
handball.
yes, if he went.
I do.
It took like fucking 10 minutes. Everybody wanted to get the fuck out of there. It was a draw, and if he took the call back, then the Portland Timbers would have won. So it was all this pressure for that fucking guy who spent like at least 5 real-time minutes, like which is an eternity when you are getting rained on and want to get the fuck out of there. And you're a home fan and you don't want the call to be overturned. The fucking idiot. I mean, VAR just kind of sucks. Doesn't it sometimes though?
It does. I mean,
it takes away from the game.
It kind of. I watched. Who did I watch the other night? One of the Gold Cup matches. Might have been Mexico and Cuba. You know, one of them, or maybe it was in the Copa America. It might have been Brazil. No, it wasn't Gold Cup. They don't have VAR. It was Copa America. It was Brazil and somebody Brazil crushed Bolivia, I think. And there were a couple of stoppages for VAR in that game. And I got to tell you, I didn't like it. I didn't like it because it interrupts the game, interrupts the flow. It's an awkward pause.
I think there's
8 points back
fine line.
Go ahead,
there's a fine line for it. I mean, there's just a fine line that they need to get critiqued with it. I don't think you can VAR everything, but like, if there's a handball in the box and you're not 100% sure, that's a good time for a VAR.
That's a good time to do it. Yeah, offside on a goal. You know, like the goal we had against Manchester United that wasn't offside, the one we had against Leicester that wasn't offside.
Exactly. Let the play out and then go to your VAR and just let it happen if it's that close. But if you just have some slide tackle at midfield that nobody's watching and you need to give a yellow card, like that's a pointless VAR at that point. So I don't know. I feel like it'll be better run in the Premier League because they're superior and people, it'll
better the chances of a call going right. It'll better the chances,
exactly.
But it won't be 100% because you're putting the same idiots at the helm of making that decision, wasting everybody's fucking time. They can still get it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you saw in the Champions League, what was it, quarterfinal when Spurs scored with a hand. I think it was Llorente scored with his hand against Manchester City. It went to VAR. They looked at it. They allowed the goal. Then another angle came out on Twitter, and it's clearly coming off his hand, but they didn't look at that angle during the match.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not a system that's perfect by any means.
Yeah.
No, it's a catch-22. I mean, it's a catch-22. It's going to be damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I mean, being a West Ham fan, you guys will both agree if there is a VAR. So instead of the 5 added minutes, we'll get 13 added minutes now because we already get bent over on the back.
That's right.
Yes, we do.
Which is kind of a good thing because the more I think about it, fucking soccer games do kind of go a little quick for me, especially when you actually go to a game. You're like, whoa, the fucking game's over. All right, well, let's go to the pub. I mean,
in sports they're quick, but but if VAR gets us 8 points back that we should have had, if our 8 points we should have had this past season, if we get them back next season due to VAR, I'm all for it. I'm 100% for it.
Because when those 8 points that could have dropped Manchester United out, that would have at least put us up to 8th, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 7th.
I think we could have been 7th. I think we could have finished 7th if we'd had those 8 points.
I mean, that's a huge swing. I mean, that doesn't help for Champions League and stuff, but it definitely helps.
It would have gotten us into Europe. It would have gotten us into Europa League.
Yeah.
I'm basing that.
And I mean, that helps draw players to you too. I mean, if you're just finished 10th, 11th, 12th, I mean, I don't want to go to this crap team that's finishing near the middle to the bottom of the table. Oh, what? They're a top 7 team. Hey, I go there. I could make them a top 4 team, top 3 team, maybe. Who knows? A couple.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it could be, the swing could be huge. Like, yes, it sucks because it will drag out the game and whatnot. But like you said, those 8 points. I mean, 8 points doesn't seem like a lot when
I base that on the draw against Liverpool that I think we should have won because their goal was offside.
Mhm.
There was the Manchester United game that we lost where we scored 2 legitimate goals
Yep.
that didn't count, and then they had a penalty that shouldn't have been a penalty. There was
Right. Yep.
there was Manchester City which we lost, which should have been a draw because the penalty there was absolutely non-existent. And then there was Leicester when Perez of all people scored a totally legitimate goal that didn't count, and then Leicester came back and scored in the injury time for the draw. To me, I know it's conjecture. We don't know for sure if we'd have won or lost, but give us 2 victories and 2 draws and 8 points, which we arguably earned, and it's a whole different season. Plus, you give us that as the season's going on. You know what I mean? So, like, instead of that,
that could change. I mean, because going into the Man U game, we had already won. We had just come off a draw and a win. I mean, you get another win, you throw a win streak together. Like, I mean, people start getting hot and stuff. Everybody starts playing well together, but then you get just a terrible loss that you go to the dressing room and you're there and you're like, oh crap, we should have won that game because nobody was offside. It's just defeating. It's demoralizing. So I mean, you never know when you can get hot, especially right then. I mean, just get hot at the right time. And I mean, that Man U game, we still had 7, 8 matches left towards the end of the year, 6, 7, 8 matches. And I mean, definitely could have run with it.
But you watch, VAR will screw us. I guarantee you, because we're West Ham.
Oh, 100%. It screws FC Dallas all the time. All the time. I'm a proponent for VAR, and FC Dallas gets bent over for it all the time. So, it's just what I have. I wear the red and the blue, the Carleton blue, and the claret and blue, excuse me. And I'm here. I'm here, and it's going to just be a great season.
You know what?
Go referees in the Premier League.
We're winning the cup this year. Period.
Someday it'll pay off. That's the thing. Someday it'll pay off. Someday.
This is the year, man. This is the year. If you feel it, just you see it, man. With all the new uniforms and the atmosphere and the players that we're signing and the idiots that we're getting rid of. I think that this is definitely it's our time. This is the year that we're actually going to do it. We have the manager in his 2nd season, so he's got his growing pains. He's got his fucking idiots out of there. He doesn't want. He's bringing in some good players. I mean. He's got to get his football right this year, I think.
Pablo Fornals looks like a player.
He looks like a solid key acquisition. I mean,
he does.
He looks good on paper. Now, we haven't seen him training or anything, but I mean, on paper, does not look bad.
I mean,
so I'll agree to that.
If you have Yarmolenko healthy, I know Lanzini is in negotiations over his contract, but he's still with us, at least for now. A healthy Lanzini, a healthy Yarmolenko, healthy Balbuena Diop pairing in central defense.
Yeah, with Roberto. I think Roberto will be hammer of the year this year. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Fabianski will pull his groin in fucking training, and
Whoa! Easy, big fella. Easy, big fella.
And the true goalkeeper who learns how to not concede 54 goals in a season will actually win hammer of the year.
What?
Well, it's going to be Declan Rice, hammer of the year. Declan Rice is
who knows how to get clean sheets.
If he doesn't get injured, his injury is
oh gosh.
Declan Rice, hammer.
Hammer of the year, Felipe Anderson, right here. Heard it here first. June.
I would love that. 16th, I would love it.
Right here. That's my boy. Him and Mark Noble. Those are my guys. So.
Well, everybody loves Noble. No. We need to get a trophy for Noble. We need to win a cup, a League Cup, FA Cup. I don't really care which one. We need to make a run because Noble needs a trophy to get himself into that plateau with like Brooking and Bonds, and I don't know if anybody will ever reach Bobby Moore, but that level of West Ham legend. He's there. He's there in every way except he doesn't have a trophy.
He needs cup. This is the year he's going to get his cup. Period.
If not, Tim, make sure you send him a cup from Phil here in Plano, Texas. We'll send one with the crest on it. He'll get a cup. It'll be fine. Mark, Tim's going to send one to you. Just pass out some business cards for Phil. It's great. He does international shipping.
Well, I think Noble was part of the Betway Cup winning team last season. So.
We'll see how they do against Alaves this year too.
Yeah, Tim, that reminds me of when we used to run the NPSL team in Lowell. And do you remember the NPSL team won a tournament at like Fitchburg State or something like that?
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
A preseason tournament at Fitchburg State, and the coach of the team actually said at the time, if we never win anything in the season, at least we won the Falcon Cup.
The Falcon Cup, yeah. The Fitchburg State Falcons. Yeah.
The Falcon Cup and the Betway Cup are basically the same thing. The Betway
Our MPSL team played a 4-team tournament against 3 of the local colleges, state universities, and we won.
they did win, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a Betway Cup level.
We still need to do a show on this. I want to do an expose on the fucking that stupid. Anyway,
that's a documentary that we'll shoot
Right.
another time, yeah, because that's a whole different thing altogether.
I know. All right, fine.
Yeah. But it's time we
We'll
got
have to start
to
a channel.
get Mark Noble a cup, and I'm thinking this year, if I get a name put on the back of my West Ham shirt or shirts, I'm thinking it might finally be time for Noble. I don't have a Noble. I'm thinking about the time for Noble.
I'm putting Tompkins 5 right in the back. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, if you guys need one, you can always put Hall 64. That's me. Just have greatness on your kit. Like, that's it. Hall HALL 64.
Why
You don't have to send me anything. No royalties or nothing. You can
why
just.
the 64?
It's all you. It's all you.
Where does 64 come from?
So I was number 11 forever in high school and college baseball and stuff. But I actually have a 64 convertible Ford Galaxy in my garage right now. Yeah, it's blue, white top. And I was playing on a softball team out here and somebody already had 11. I was like, crap, what number do I come up with? I'm like, 69 just to be that douchebag, And I was like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, 64, because I mean that's a really just oddball number that nobody has.
Sure.
And then I actually joined another softball team. Like, hey, what number do you want? I'm like 64. They're like, we already have somebody with that. I'm like, what offensive lineman do you have that has 64? What? Like, get the hell out of here. So I still wear number 64. We both do. Because I was like, I'm not changing again. 64, I'm sticking with that. So, like, get out. So that's just, my 64 Ford Galaxy Drax. He's in the garage right now, parked and tucked in. So, man.
All right.
That's it. That's
All right, brother. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us tonight, man. I know it's been a couple weeks in the works, and we've been talking about this for a little while now, maybe even over a month now. But we're glad to have had the time to chat with you. It was kind of fun. Dude, the time flew right by. I didn't realize
it did.
I know.
Shit.
I know.
I do have to mention. Is there anything you need to mention before I start mentioning all our upcoming shows?
No, hey, thank you guys so much. If we come up to Boston, love to see you guys. I'm a huge Red Sox fan, so I'd love to see you guys. Or if you're down in Dallas, come hang out. We're here. Yeah. We'll get you tickets to the FC Dallas game again, so you can watch us get screwed out of something else. Come like right now when it's balls hot, since you were there when it was like -4. So now you can come when it's 134. So you'll just get like both sides of it. But no, thank you guys so much. Love it. Love what we're doing. Dallas Hammers, love you guys. Love everybody. And hope to see you guys soon.
Hey, Clay, you were awesome.
There it is.
Really appreciate it.
Lee, is there anything you want to mention before we get going?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we just what we got coming up, which, you got the schedule, so.
I got the schedule. All right.
I have the schedule too.
Oh, hey, I got one more thing because I just got a text message right here from Wayne. Happy Father's Day, Wayne. So there you go. There's your little shout out right now. So you can have it. And one other thing too that I'm doing. So at the beginning of next season, you guys will see it because I actually do metal art and stuff. And the logo that Tim just held up on that sticker, I actually cut that out of metal. So, and it's actually going in our supporter pub. So if anybody wants it and whatnot, Boston, Vegas, DC, whoever can get with me and we can get it. Just we're trying to work some stuff out for it and whatnot. But be on the lookout for that. I'll definitely get you a picture of it when it gets done and stuff.
Yeah, let us know. We'll put we'll put something up on our website about that for you.
Okay, yeah.
Just
for sure. I'll get with Wayne about that. So it's like a 14-inch circle crest with our logo and stuff going to go on the pub and whatnot.
Yeah, we'll get that out. Definitely.
I'd like to thank our previous guests this month so far. We had John from Las Vegas. We were supposed to have Cleveland. That didn't work out. So we had Rich from Dallas. Yep. We had Wally and Gabe, our two most loyal viewers. We also had Ian Bishop. That was awesome. The West Ham. I thought Lee and Justin. Lee and Justin and Allie did a great job with who was it? Anna Moorhead.
Morehouse.
I mean,
I did the same thing because why did I do that?
I was just joking. I know you said
Oh, I'm
that.
sorry. No. You know what? I got it.
Anna Morehouse
I
and
love the interview, but I was totally fried. I went out to watch the Bruins the night before, which was
oh, good. I'm
a
just messing
tragic
with you,
night.
man.
Tragic night of watching.
Listen, it was a great interview. It was an awesome interview. It was Brooke Hendricks, Aaron Simon, and Anna Morehouse. That was awesome. And then we had Clint on tonight. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. And
thank you guys. Anytime.
We had,
Anytime. I'm
Monday.
here. And
Monday
we had Chuck Core at some point too.
Oh yeah, that didn't on my schedule, but it was on your schedule.
You want to hear stories about old school West Ham?
Mm-hmm.
Go watch the Chuck Core interview. He wrote a book about West Ham that's still the definitive history of the club. He's a fantastic guy. He knew everybody you can think of from West Ham. He met guys who played in the 1923 FA Cup final. So anyway,
listen,
just the best, and I love that guy.
That was a great interview. A great interview. I really enjoyed that. Also, the Robert Banks one he did too. So check out. There's a playlist in our channel for West Ham authors.
And we're working on more authors. Also, Robert Banks, another great guy who's written 4 months. You want to live the pain of being a West Ham supporter over the last about 40 years or so. Live it or relive it. Then read Robert Banks' books. He's written 4 of them, and I've read the latest one. I haven't read the history, but the latest one's great.
Yep.
Lee, you said that movie was called what? The Firm? The BBC movie?
Yeah, it's Gary Oldman. It was made for the BBC. I'd say it's about 1988, 89, 90, something like that.
It's on Amazon Prime. I know for a fact because I just watched it there a couple weeks ago, and I was also looking for a football movie to watch today, and I picked The Damned United because I heard you talking about that.
That's a great movie.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, not West Ham, but
no, The Firm is still on Amazon Prime. If you guys have Amazon Prime Video, it's there. The Firm. There's also another Firm, but it's not that Firm. You want the one from 1988, or 89.
Yeah, the great.
Cool.
So anyway, tomorrow we have 2 shows. We have Dan Lawless from West Ham Fan TV. Really excited about that one. It's at 1 p.m. Eastern time. A little bit different because he needs to do it at 6 p.m. his time. So we're doing it at 1. And then later on that evening, Scott. It's Mr. Scott. I know you're watching. Just remember, start recording. We're gonna have a little transfer roundup, and he knows his stuff. And so
because Scott is Canadian, he's gonna do the whole show in English and French because that's the law in Canada. So.
I need subtitles. Subtitles. I failed Spanish, so I can't even imagine what's gonna happen with French.
No, he has to say everything in French because he's Canadian. That's
I believe Keith will be doing it in Swahili. So anyway, Dave Oliver from what's it called? Fresno Irons out of Bakersfield, California. Guy's actually from London, and he moved to Bakersfield and is hanging out with the Fresno Irons. We got him on Wednesday. I don't have anything 100% yet until Jack Collison on the 24th. We also have so there's 2 shows that day. We got Tom Atherton from Hammer's Jack. And then Tom's going to join after we interview him, or I interview him, whatever. Later on that night, we're going to have Jack Collison on. Me, Lee, and Tom are going to interview him.
Well, I will be there for Jack Collison, no doubt about that.
Yeah, and then
by the way, he's going to Atlanta United. Did you see that?
Yes.
That's not. I don't think that's like.
I still want to throw up my mouth when I hear MLS, but yes.
You know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sorry, Clint. Sorry. If Jack Collison's with Atlanta United, I'm an Atlanta United fan now.
And
I'm going to watch the game, but.
I mean, that's fine. We've got Atlanta at the end of the season. So last year beat them 3-2 in on 4th of July. Came back in the 83rd, scored 3 goals in the last 7 or 8 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
And beat them earlier this year at home. So,
that's cool.
The only other
I still hate Atlanta. I hate Atlanta so much. I really do. It makes me so mad. They're a second-year team and sell out the Mercedes-Benz Dome, that 70,000 seats. I don't understand.
It's the only team in Atlanta that draws fans.
For real. In the demographic of Atlanta, Georgia, you're telling me that is the demographic for soccer? What?
You know what? It's all kinds of people. It's all kinds of all the guys.
For real.
The Atlanta office of the company where I work, the company I work for is based here in Boston. We have offices in Minneapolis, Atlanta, and Colorado. Half the Atlanta office are season ticket holders of the Atlanta United. It's crazy.
Well, that's how Austin FC, they just announced the other day, and it was the first day for season tickets, and they had 30,000 people sign up. They have a waiting list of 16,000 people already. I'm like, what?
That's a surprise to me too, Austin, because you figure they just go watch UT football, but
Right, exactly. You wouldn't think it's a big soccer
I wouldn't
stadium.
think so,
If you haven't checked out that stadium, what they're doing with it, man, that stadium is going to be legit. Like it's going to be those grounds are going to be awesome ones to check out for sure.
All right, so the last interview that we have scheduled is Sacramento. We've been trying to get in touch with them for a long, long, long time, and we got them on the 26th of June. And that said, we're out of time. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons. Thank you,
Thank
Clint.
you guys. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.